Hello, and good evening. So today I wanted to talk about something a little bit more lighthearted because some of the early feedback that I've gotten from my videos is that maybe it's a little bit too dry, not exciting enough, not interesting enough, and so I want to talk about something that's possibly more interesting and a little bit more fun, at least for some viewers, and that is the topic of phones and more specifically the iPhone, iOS versus the Google Android operating systems. And so, in order to do that, I guess I'll start off by saying that I am an iPhone owner, so have the 5S and before that the 4S, and definitely really am satisfied with that. And but however, I know other people that have Android devices and they seem to really like them. And I can just say from what I've observed or from what I've heard, it seems like there are more people that are transitioning from iPhone to Android than the other way around. And it seems like kind of the general consensus is that Android users are more tech savvy and more advanced, and they know more about smartphones, and iPhone users are just kind of people that follow the crowd and they don't really think for themselves, or they're just kind of, some people would say basic. um, and so I think that's very interesting. So I know some people, whenever they hear that I use an iPhone, they think that's a sign of my unsophistication with technology. But anyway, I'm not going to really, make any strong argument for or against either one. I guess some people might be disappointed about that. But I just wanted to make the video to kind of make my prediction public about what I think which phone will be more successful or which system will be, and that is that I think that in the short-term future, so that is over the next couple years, 2 or 3 years anyway, nobody's really going to win. There's not going to be any system that has like completely dominant market share. I think that currently Android has more market share than iPhone does, but it also has a lot more phones. Apple just has the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus, and I guess they're still selling the. I think they're still selling the 5S at a reduced rate. But anyway, I think unless something really dramatically changes, something just Android comes out with a new feature that just like cannot be matched or copied by Apple or something that's just completely revolutionary. I think that they'll still hold on to that market share lead, but there's still going to be a lot of customers for Apple. I can't really predict more than 2, 3, 4 years down the road because I don't know what's going to happen in the technology industry then. But I do think that for the near term future, um, at least for the next couple of years, I think that Apple and Android will be a very healthy competition, and I think nobody's really going to be the clear and far away obvious winner of market share. I think it'll just come down to personal preference. And as I've already said, I personally prefer the iPhone just because I think it's simpler and just easier to use. But I mean, I guess that, some people have told me that I'm missing out on features or that that their Android phone could do things 2 years ago that Apple phones can just now do, something along stuff along those lines. So I mean, I guess I am open to the possibility that I'm missing something, but I'm just, I'm pretty satisfied with my Apple iPhone, and I just don't really like how the Android system seems to be more tricky and complicated to use. So that's where I stand on that. But once again, I think that it's really a personal preference issue. I don't think that anybody's going to be the far and away favorite, or somebody's going to have a massive advantage over the other between Android and iOS for at least the next 2 or 3 years. But again, I think that that could change in the future. Um, Obviously, just thinking about other smartphones that used to be completely dominant, and now you hardly ever hear or see anybody using them, such as the Palm Trio. And then I guess, Palm tried to come out with some other products, and I think they were bought by HP many years ago. And then I don't know what happened to that. But Palm, you don't see anybody using a Palm device. And then BlackBerry, obviously that was really popular around the 90s and then the early 2000s, and then I guess right up until the time of the iPhone. I think that it was the BlackBerry, and then it was the Windows mobile devices, which Microsoft later rebranded as the Windows Phone. Um, device was really popular. But then once the iPhone came out, the BlackBerry just started going downhill, and now, I mean, I heard that they released the BlackBerry Classic. I don't know exactly when, sometime within the last quarter or so, but I don't know how that's doing. I guess it's not doing that well because I haven't actually seen anybody in real life using it. I've just heard about techno nerds, reviewing it or posting their thoughts of it on, some kind of BlackBerry fanboy site or something like that. But it seems like for the general population, it's Android's number one, iPhone is number two, and then number three is Windows Phone. And I think it'll stay that way for at least the next 2 years. And but we'll see. We'll see. I'd like to hear everybody's comments and predictions. Do you think that Android is the next BlackBerry? Do you think it'll fizzle out and become uncool, or do you think iPhone will become unpopular? Do you think that maybe do you think that there's going to be any mergers and acquisitions? Do you think that somebody's going to try to buy somebody else? Do you think that Microsoft will try to buy BlackBerry? I think that's been discussed before. I don't know if it was unfeasible or if Microsoft decided that wasn't a good strategic initiative to undergo. But I know that's been discussed before. Do you think that maybe now that BlackBerry's lost so many customers and so much market share that the value of the company is so low that maybe it would make sense for Microsoft to buy BlackBerry to reduce rate? I don't really know. I haven't looked into it too closely recently. All I know is that BlackBerry is only a very small fraction of what it used to be. So that concludes my segment on the Google Android versus the Apple iOS operating systems, and hope everybody enjoys using their smartphones, and lets me know in the comments section what they think of the debate between the two systems.